Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here tonight as we're driving down the road. Just got off of work. Just got the news. Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to be a part of that big Raw 25. No word yet if Stone Cold is going to be in the Barclays Center or Stone Cold is going to be in the Manhattan Center. Honestly, in my opinion, that was one of the biggest questions on my mind when they announced this sort of like simulcast Raw. If I was going to be there, if I was going to be in New York, if I was going to be in Brooklyn, where would I rather be? Would I rather be in the Manhattan Center and feel the atmosphere of actually going to a Raw in the Manhattan Center, which is probably, honestly, never going to happen again? Or would I want to be in the Barclays Center with all of the most current superstars, knowing that I'm going to be able to see some action there and not have to watch a lot of the stuff on the screen? When it comes down to it, I think Austin will be in the Barclays Center. For the one thing is that when I think of Stone Cold Steve Austin, I don't really think of the Manhattan Center. When Austin came in as the $1 Million Man's protege, I don't think that they were in the Manhattan Center anymore. I think they had started expanding out and going on the road with Monday Night Raw. You know, they would only have it live every other week and tape the next week right behind it. But I think that's around the time when he started coming in as the ringmaster. Plus, when it comes down to it, Stone Cold Steve Austin getting that big, huge, monstrous pop, I think is going to be really, really freaking cool, especially with it being there in the Barclays Center. Thinking back over what Stone Cold Steve Austin has done on his last few appearances for Monday Night Raw, I might be wrong, but the last time I can remember seeing Stone Cold on Monday Night Raw would be a few years back in LA when he was there to do one of the Stone Cold podcasts on the WWE Network. And all he basically did was he came out and he introduced The Undertaker to come out and cut a promo for the Hell in the Cell with him and Brock Lesnar. Besides for that, it's been a while. I know I've been dreaming up of Stone Cold showing up on Raw, and I know that, you know, he's one of the guys that basically his time in wrestling is done. Because of the podcast, because of how big of a name he was, he's always sort of going to be one of those guys. You know, for so many years, we kept on hoping that Stone Cold Steve Austin would come back and have one more big match. Whether that was going to be, you know, against CM Punk or whether that was going to be against Brock Lesnar. That was a dream match that a lot of us had, that a lot of us wanted to see. You know, he's always going to be one of those guys that, you know, you wish you'd be able to see him, you know, do that introduction, come stomping down to the ring with that music behind him and handing out those stunners to those people there. Most memorable thing I can think of after Stone Cold actually walked away was Stone Cold coming back and doing the Raw Homecoming when Monday Night Raw came back to the USA Network. He was on that show, and he actually had a Stone Cold stunner for all four of the McMahons in the McMahon family. He gave one to Vince, he gave one to Stephanie, he gave one to Shane, and he gave one to Linda, which honestly is probably one of the worst stunners of all time. There's going to be a lot of names announced, and I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of names that aren't announced that are going to be surprises for this show. It reminds me a lot of the Raw 1000 that was a couple of years ago with you know Billy Gunn, X-Pac, and, you know, a lot of guys like that were, you know, not the biggest names in the business, but, you know, really got, you know, a big pop that night because of how much nostalgia meant to all the wrestling fans, you know, paying homage to 1,000 episodes. Now here we are, you know, 25 years later. I know my good friend Freaking Yaya 88, he has claimed to have watched every episode of Monday Night Raw, and even though he admits that it's bad right now, can't walk away, and that's one of those things for it. But that episode of Raw is going to be big. I can honestly tell you that unless I use some sort of a stream, I won't be able to watch that show live, and something is telling me that I really want to watch that show in its capacity. So that might be one that actually I'm going to have to watch on tape delay. I wonder if I can actually do that. But, you know, here we have, I think we got AT&T or we got Comcast or something like that here in Sacramento. We don't have the live East Coast feed like we used to. So we'll have to wait for the show to actually start at 8 o'clock here on the West Coast like Mark's. But I'm pumped that Stone Cold's going to be there. He doesn't show up for much in wrestling anymore. I don't even know if, honestly, he's under contract to sort of appear anymore. I know that they sell his t-shirts and his stuff like that. They still want to keep that sort of money rolling into the shop. But we'll see what goes down. That Raw 25 going to be a big one.